Hi everybody, this is Eddie. I'm going to do a market update for this week. So it's been a very interesting week. We actually broke down off the mini trend line. There's a mini downtrend within the big downtrend. So this is the mini downtrend right here, this trend line, right? And we broke through it. We came back, retest this breakout area, and then it took off, right? So we have three really strong up days. There was a lot of volume coming through. So this is a good sign. Potentially, this could be our temporary bottom, and but we'll see what happens. We're coming up towards the key resistance area, which is the level right here. All right, this is also the upper part of the downtrend, as well as this resistance area of this consolidation. Right, so this is a key area to look at for next week. If we can break through this area, we potentially could test the 200 and then come back, retest this area, and then we break out, right? If we get rejected right away, what we're looking for is a higher low. We want to get a higher low above this breakout area. If we can stay above this breakout area, we're still good for the uptrend. There's still a chance for continuation. Sometimes, because we're extended right now, so I do expect some sort of a pullback. So if we do get our pullback, I want to see it to hold the 8 and 21 day moving average. If we can hold that, and then we can go higher, make a higher high, then that can be our trend change. That will create a higher high. If we break above this channel right here, it will be a higher high, and then we will be out of this downtrend, and then potentially be on our next wave up, right? And I do suspect that if once we get out of this downtrend, there'll be a violent move up because a lot of people waiting on the sidelines, and including myself, for the market to bottom. And there's a lot of good signs out there. Like earnings were good this week. We had earnings lottos on Amazon, Google, and Microsoft this week, and they all worked out well. So once you start seeing earnings, big gap ups on earnings, potentially that could be a trigger for some momentum and some money flowing back into the market, right? So that's really good to see. And then for next week, all I'm looking for is a higher low. I do not expect that we'll run all the way up. I mean, we could. We are extended. See how far it is. We're from the 8, so we are extended. So, but if momentum picks up, we can actually go all the way straight up to the 200-day moving average and test this area first before coming back for a retest and then go higher, right? So that could happen too. So I just take it day by time, and I did start deploying cash into swing positions now too, because this is a good breakout right here. This was a key area to break out of, and we broke out, retest, and then it went. So yeah, we have a few swing positions, mostly big blue chip FANG names. Haven't started with the growth names yet. I nibble at it a little bit, but we'll see what happens next week. If next week's staying good and a lot of the growth names start coming out of their bases, then potentially I will be re-entering a lot more swing trades. All right, so let's take a look at the Qs. Q is a very similar chart. So Q actually went straight into this resistance and broke above it. We're also broken above the 100-day moving average. So next week, if there's a continuation, right, we're looking at this area right here, and then it will be the 200-day moving average after that. So this is probably the area it's going to get stopped at. So if momentum do pick up, this will most likely hit here before it gets exhausted for a pullback, and then a continuation afterwards. So if you can tell, like, see, we make higher lows the entire way up, right? So that's usually a really good sign for a trend change, right? So yeah, so potentially I'm looking for a higher high right here, and then create a higher low, and then continuation back up, probably up to around this area right here. That would be probably my target for this type move. And then once it gets up to here, you want to see a pullback and then form another bigger higher low for a much bigger change in direction, right? So once we get that direction, we potentially get swing up, right? And okay, so let's take a look at some of the internals. So the VIX is coming back down towards the $20 area. So around the $20 area is where you want to see for the market for continuation, because you don't want volatility to be up too high above 20. If volatility continues to be above 20, there's still going to be very big swings in the market, right? Usually in a bull market, the VIX is below 20, ideally hovering around between 15 and 18 area. So it's coming down strong. So let's see what happens next week. Just look at through some indexes to see if there's anything that jumps out. Okay, IHI, so medical devices. So medical devices looks very much like the index. It's still in the downtrend. It's coming up to test this key area right here, the 100-day moving average. So it's going to be seen. It needs to break above this area in order to go higher, right? So that's the key. And this is one of the ETFs that I like to buy. I like medical devices because there's quite a bit of growth in that field with all the new medical equipment that's coming out. It's an area that I like to be invested in. SMH. So SMH, not quite out of the downtrend yet. The upper part is still right here. It's lagging the index slightly. And this is a leader sector for the index as well. So if we do break above here, you can see if we do break above this area right here, you can pretty well call this market a bottom, right? Because once it breaks above here, it's going to make a higher low, because that would be a higher high, and then you just form a higher low, and then that's their trend change for the markets. Energy stocks. So I did take my exit on my energy stocks as we were approaching this area. It did broke through it by the end of the day, but it was approaching this area, and I didn't really want to take on the risk, so I just took my full exit. I bought it down around here, so it was just for a quick swing. So if it does continue, most likely we're going to fill some of these gaps that's up here as well. So but I really want to see energy stocks to come down, because that would confirm that inflation is coming back down, right? Energy has a lot to do with inflation. So if oil prices come down, then the market tends to go up a bit more that way. So I'm looking for a lower high on energy index. So if that comes down, then potentially oil prices come down, and it could help with the CPI numbers going towards the next Fed meeting, right? Xlf Financials. Financials is a little bit lagging the sector. So as you can see, we just fill this gap right here. There's still a long way up to this top range right here. So we're looking for it to come back up and then break back above in order to go higher. Industrials had a really big rally this week, and it's rallying strong off this base right here. I was watching it, but I never really got into it because there was two really big gaps right here that needs to be filled, and it just went nuts so last week. So let's see if we can get above the 200-day moving average. If it does, then potentially it can lift the market up, because that's a good sign that the economy is doing well if the industrials are staying up. In technology, so this is where majority of us like to invest, is technology. As you can see, it's actually outperforming the markets because we broke above this high already in technology sector. So it is leading the market out of this bear trend. So if potentially next week we just go straight up to 200-day, expect it to come back to retest this area before going any higher, right? And on the retest is really where you want to get in on some of the stocks, right? Because once you start holding, you can hint that we are going to go much higher, probably around this area right here, this upper range right here. So this is our destination for this trend. So if we go up here, retest, hit back here, and once we break above here, you can expect we'll make some new highs. So Go through some stocks. Here's Apple. Apple had good earnings. It gapped up above the 200-day moving average. So I was talking about last week, if Apple can break through this 200-day moving average, Apple's a leader in the market, so it tends to get out of the downtrend before the rest of the market does. So it did get out of this downtrend, is above now, so potentially it's leading the way up. Right, so if Apple is going to break above the 200-day moving average, all the other tech names, big tech names, potential will follow shortly after. So, like I said a couple weeks ago, you want to start deploying some cash, and these are the names you want to deploy in. Is the leaders in the market, right? Okay, AMD. So AMD, we talked about buying it around this base down here. It choked off. It hit our first target at 90. It's aiming for the second target at 100, and then it'll be 110 afterwards, right? So I did get a position on AMD last week for a swing trade. Just a starting position. I do plan to add on to it on the pullback. So I am hoping for it to come back down. So if you come back down, then I will potentially buy more of AMD, because this is one of the stocks that I want to hold for longer term, and this is a really good price to get back into it if you're not in already. Right, Amazon. Yeah, so I was talking about this Amazon base right here, and then this gap with earnings. We are in the middle of the gap. It went through. It didn't quite break above the gap, so it's right in the middle of the gap. It can go either direction, really. I actually want to own this stock at this price, so I did sell some puts to try to get some shares, and I did do an earnings lotto. I exited a couple days early because somebody gave me the wrong date. So I did exit it early. I did not play the actual earnings because it went up quite a bit before earnings. So I was afraid that because we're in the upper range, I was afraid that we gap down. So I never played the actual earnings, but I did play the pre-earnings, which is a couple days ago. So I did caught like the move down from here up to this point right here. So so I did lock in some profits, and I got out before the actual earnings. Kind of wish I held now, but that's something you can't really guess. So you kind of just put a little bit of money in it, and then see how it plays out. Google, we did have a play on this. So we did bought like down the lower end of it, and then it popped afterwards. So it was pretty good play. I did start some leaps on Google, so this is a really nice base here. So if the market's going bottom, most likely Google is going to come back all the way up to 144 area, and that is about a 40% upside from where we're trading at right now. So if you buy the leap options, that's pretty well a double and maybe even a triple on the premiums. So that is one of our plays, and hopefully it'll play it out in the next few months there towards the end of the year. Microsoft, same thing. So Microsoft had a base. We broke out of the base, right? Broke through the 100-day moving average. Now all we got left is the 200, right? Once we break through the 200, same thing. This area right here. A lot of these charts are similar because they're all part of the index, so they all have similar charts. So, and this is a key area to break is around this 316 area. Let's just call it 320. So if we break 320, we're going towards the highs and then probably do highs after that. If you look in the bigger trend, right, it's right around the 100-day moving average. The 50 days right around here where that 200 is on daily. So once we break through that, it's going to continue in this uptrend because we're still in a very big uptrend. This is just a normal pullback in an uptrend, right? And that happens with good stocks, right? In a bear market and it's holding up, that's a really good sign. Look, for longer term, it's actually a good play. This is a pretty good entry down here. Right. Netflix, I don't play Netflix because I don't like the business. So they don't make money. So I don't really want to trade a big company that makes no money, right? So I'm skipping that. Nvidia, very much like AMD. Nice bond formation right here. We are above the moving averages. 100-day moving averages right here around this about say 200 zone, right? So that is our target, is about that 200 zone. So if it actually does get up to 200 zone, we'll if we break through that, we're looking at around that 230 area. So I do have a small precision in this. I sold some puts to try to get some shares. I don't think I'll get a share, so I'll just take the premium off the puts, and I'll sell some more till I get the shares at a cheaper price. Tesla is just going nuts this week. So there was this really nice base right here. It's formed like a mini saucer bottom, and then it finally broke out with higher highs. It tested 100, came back, retested the 8, and then broke out. Now we're at the 200-day moving average, so this is a resistance area. I do want to see it to test this high right here, and then just come back, retest the 200, and go higher. Right. I did miss this play. I sold a little too early because it did have earnings coming up, and I sold before earnings. I should have kept it through earnings, but at that time they were one of the early companies that report. So I don't really want to go into an earnings play without knowing what the earnings going to be like, right? So usually once the first couple companies show their earnings, then you kind of have like an idea of where the market's going to go, and then you could have a better direction on the earnings play, right? So anyways, it's up a little high. I'm looking for a pullback first, and this is one of those stocks that if it goes, it's going to go crazy, right? It can go straight up like it did right here, right? So once Tesla goes, it's going to squeeze out all the shorts, and then it's going to go for like a rampage on the upside. So, if you want to trade it, just be very careful when you're trading a stock like that, because it goes up hard, but it comes down just as hard. So you got to take your stops and lock in profits on the way up. Right. So Adobe is one of the stocks I just got into. It's trying to form a bottom right here as well. If it takes off, we're looking at around 475 to 500 area. And from here, that's a good size rally up. That's about almost 20% upside potential. So I bought some options. So options with a 20% upside on the stock with options should be pretty good. Another stock that we got into that we like is CRM. So CRM, it's in this big downtrend, just like all the other growth names, and then it's paused right here around the COVID level. So this is a really nice base formation, and we're looking it just start coming out of the base right here. You really need to see it break about that 190 to 200 area to see it go. So I'm looking for that trade from here to the 200-day moving average, which is around this area right here. So if it does break out and reach this area, I will most likely take some profits, and then I'll possibly get back in once I see it break above this area right here. All right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this week. Like I said, there's a lot of setups out there. That's just gone through a little bit. If you guys want to get early access to some of these trades, I am starting to post swing trades now. So if you guys want, I do have a trade alert service that we go through some of these trades as well. I have my courses. I have advanced level 1 course, which is more of income as well as technical analysis course, and then I do have a day trading course for those advanced traders that want to do this for a living, right? Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.